iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz.
I play Lila in The Lonely Few, and Lila is the front woman of a band in a small town in Kentucky that plays at Paul's Juke Joint, and sort of their greatest escape in their life is getting to play at this place and in their band every weekend. And at the beginning of the story, Amy, this incredible singer-songwriter, comes through town and meets the band and meets Lila, and that sort of sets off a whole chain of events for both their relationship and falling in love and the band getting to go out and be on tour.
I'm Helen. I play JJ, and I am one of 4 members of the band The Lonely Few and one of 6 members of the cast of The Lonely Few. Because the band is also called The Show, and it's confusing for some people.
I think first and foremost, the story is about love. It's about 2 people who meet at kind of pivotal points in their lives, and they have to make really tough decisions about how they'd like to move forward, whether that's with each other or not. Told through a lot of music, a lot of great music, rock and roll, country, musical theater. It's a good time. That's what it is. My character's name is Amy Burnett, and she is coming in to meet someone from her past, but she ends up meeting Lila and is very thrown by that experience and how to explore that. And she's a rock star.
I joined it when they had the first development process with actors, which was in the winter of 2022. And that was a process of sitting around at a table and really getting into the dramaturgy of it and hearing it with actors for the first time. And then we did a production at Geffen Playhouse in LA, and that was last year. And now we are getting to be here, and so many changes have happened from that first workshop till now. The piece has gone through many iterations and really figuring out what this story is and what we want to be telling. So I've been lucky. It's really exciting when you get to be part of it from the beginning, because you have all the history of the dramaturgy being in the rooms that whole time. There's so much about this character and this world and the story that I know that maybe didn't make it onto the page, but because I got to be part of the development process, it all like lives in here, you know? So it's a really exciting and fortunate place to be in as an actor in the piece. It was really fun to do it in LA because LA has its own like music history, and it really is like a music town. And because this show really, it is a musical, but it also functions like a concert some of the time. And so getting to do a show like this in a city where they have venues like the Troubadour and stuff, like some of these really historical music venues, was fun for those type of audiences. But of course, doing it for me at home in New York and in the place for American musical theater is extremely exciting. And really the big change for the show is we've had to expand it because we did it in the Geffen small space, and it's essentially like a black box that you can configure however you'd like. And so to learn how to create an immersive feel for this piece while also being in a proscenium theater has been a big jump for the show, and it's been exciting to figure out.
I auditioned for the production at the Geffen, and I saw the breakdown, saw the audition. I was like, wow, a person who plays the keys and also says some really out-of-pocket things and stuff. It kind of sounds like myself. And I auditioned and met the creative team, and we got to work in the callback. There was a drummer in the callback, and I remember feeling so excited that there was a show that was happening that cared so much about music and cared so much about making it feel authentic and cool and raw. Yeah, and I was really excited about the project because I played piano for 15 years growing up, and so it just kind of all felt a little bit kismet.
I mean, I think I am fortunate enough to have a lot of cool moments. I get to play guitar. I get to dance a little bit. I get to interact with the audience. And to channel all of that has just taken a lot of courage and a lot of fake it till you make it, 1,000% for me. But I'm having a lot of fun.
I mean, I love doing rock musicals because I think it's an emotionality to the music that is different than classical musical theater or contemporary musical theater that does draw more from the pop world. But I think there's a rawness and a sort of intensity of expression in rock music that I think is really fun to bring into the musical theater landscape, and is something that I love to sing. And I'm super interested in just marrying the classical with the contemporary in that way, because I also grew up not thinking that the only type of musicals that I would fit into were rock musicals. I learned more classical scores. I listened to more classical singers, and so I love to marry those two influences and see how we can do storytelling with this type of music, but for a musical theater landscape. I think there's clearly in the last decade like a real push towards it, and I think it's for the better. I think it's awesome to have diversity of what you're getting to see and hear on stage.
I think the freedom and flexibility of the music, rock pulls from every genre, especially when it's in theater pieces. So for me, it lets me explore and expand the musician inside and the collaborator and the creative. And I get to meet and work with so many people who are interested in so many different types of music and art and theater. And I think that's what draws me to it. It's more free, and kind of the possibilities are endless, and that's really cool.
I think this show is really fun because it is a very queer show in all aspects, and it's been really fun to do it and have queer people in the audience, because there are just moments in the show, whether they're directly immersive or bringing the audience in or not, that I think really speak to a queer audience. And we're just into our third week of performances now, so it's still getting a sense for the audience and what hits, and we've been having a lot of fun getting to feel how many queer folks are in the audience based on some of those moments in the show, which you'll have to come see it to know what I mean. But that's been a real joy to feel like doing it for that community.
I've gotten to do a lot of rock musicals, which is cool. This show is a little different with our relationship to the audience. I love that some of them are on stage with us here and some of them aren't. It kind of puts us all on an even playing field, but also makes it a really intimate experience in a way that I've never experienced before. So that's been fun to play in those spaces and to meet the audience in that way. Yeah.
I'll say something about Lila's character that I really enjoy and how it's written is that she's flawed, and that's beautiful. And I think that characters who are flawed, I think there's a tendency to write characters that feel like perfect. So I appreciate how flawed she is. With JJ, it's so much fun every night to get to like play with my cast members about, there's certain moments of levity that JJ gets to bring and humor, but I think humor through her honesty and her candidness. There's a no BS way about her, and there's kind of a no holds barred aspect of, I think she just kind of like doesn't have the time for the BS, and I would like to take some cues from her into my own life.
The cool thing about this cast is we never stop laughing. Someone will start a bit and we will all take it too far to the end of days. I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint one, but I think it's the amount of times we've checked in with each other throughout our preview process, and changes get thrown. There's like a short little panic that you can see behind the eyes, and then we nail it, and it's always a kind of comical breath of relief. But it's been really nice to have a cast that we can do that for each other as we have built this thing. Yeah.
iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz.